Hi ladies, welcome back to the Winter Academy, or Girl at the Gate if you're seeing me on YouTube. I wanted to talk about something that had been on my heart for a little minute, and the inspiration was actually the philosopher Carl Jung. And I think people call him Carl Jung. I guess it just depends on where you're from. But this dude is super dope. I like him as a philosopher, very radical, especially for the time that he was alive. I just really love people who really go deep, 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 deep. But something that he was talking about was the matriarch and when a woman really comes into her power. And it had me thinking, what does true autonomy look like? And so for me, that true autonomy was breaking the feminine ancestral chains by exercising the ability to walk away, or exercising the freedom they gave or the freedom they didn't have. And so I think a lot of what our womanhood is now is like a preparation for the generations to come, right? What we're doing now, generationally breaking these curses, specifically when it comes to the feminine, is creating a utopia for women to be safer, seen, heard, and helped for real, right? But what had me thinking when I wrote the Breaking the Feminine Ancestral Chains was the fact that a lot of what we know as companionship, marriage, relationship was a lot of survival mechanisms for women, right? If men hold all the power and the wealth and the access, then surely a woman would be by his side to gain said access. Now that women have access, a lot of men are finding themselves by themselves, right? But what is happening spiritually? What is happening to the renovation of the feminine, right? When a woman exercises her freedom, she is actually setting her ancestors free. Now, for me, the women in my family have been married on my grandfather's side for the last 200 years. So I can go back 200 years from this date, and all of those women were married. I'm not sure if it was for survival or what, if it was love or what, right? But I know that those women didn't necessarily have a choice, and I do. And so I will exercise that choice on their behalf with them in mind, right? The reason why this is so important is the reverence of the woman, the true reverence of the woman, not sexualizing her, but just the fact that she exists can create and create and create and create. She is endless, like Mother Nature, like nature itself, right? And so it had me thinking the strength of those women was really at the behest of surviving men. It's super unfortunate, but that's not my reality. And I have to be very grateful for that, the time that they went through, what they experienced, so that I know exactly what chain to cut and where, right? Exercising true autonomy is not just about me freeing the nip. It's about setting my ancestors free. The women in my family that may have been harmed and no one could hear them scream. That may not have been able to get the street justice or justice at all. My grandfather's mother died because they wouldn't take Black people at the hospital. She died in his arms. And then thereafter, he was drafted. And so, this was like in the 1950s. Like, who will cry for her? Who will cry for her? I will. I'm going to cry for her. I'm going to be aware of the stories so that I know which chains to break, like I said. What I want women to remember is that there is no gold medal in being strong where you are not required to. Because we keep thinking that strength is in the physical and not in the mental and the spiritual. This is something about the, what is that time that I was talking about? Give me 1 second, y'all. I hate to do this to y'all. Unassuming. Unassuming. This is what women had to be. Unassuming. The listener, mouth closed, the seer. And there were no medals being won in being strong like men. I'm not talking about being able to pick up a bale of hay. No, women had to be strong in the mind insofar as strategy. We had to be strong in the mind insofar as our resolve. That is the strength. That is why I'm strong. A strong Black woman. Because I have ancestral juice for real. Just like you do. Just like you do. And so exercising the ability to walk away is not only displaying radical self-love, but is also reverence for the matriarch ancestor. Exercise your freedom to say no, to say F it, to walk away, and be willing to stand on it. Those women could not. Listen, they were burning women in Salem because they had reverence for nature. They were harming the women that looked like them. Crazy. All because we don't want to renovate the idea of what real womanhood looks like. Decentering men. They're having a problem, ladies. And I need you to cut the chain, just like I'm cutting the chain. We're standing up in a way that our ancestral mothers once upon a time could not. It's super important that you get this message. It's super important that you break those chains. Begin to put women on your altars. Begin to think of God as a woman. We have to unlearn and unpack what is really going on. What's really going on? Continue to be unassuming. Continue to be beautiful. Continue to be stealth and unprovoked. Be a lady. Be the woman that all of the mitochondria DNA inside of you is asking you to be. And once again, until we meet again, ladies, peace. Remember, it's not enough to just be pretty. You must be pretty on purpose. And until we meet again, bye.